The reason I train is for these active recovery days, because these active recovery days give me the ability to just relax and enjoy how hard I've trained over a time period, a few days. And we're talking about on very little sleep, but while eating a lot, staying focused on the things that we need to do. I slip here and there and feels like shit. I feel like a total bitch for minutes. I got myself up and I keep going forward. And as long as I do that, I have this level of drive that is just on point. Day after day for 6 months straight, 3 hours and 46 minutes. Listen, I'm not saying it's ideal. I'm not saying it's the best thing to do, but there are time and place, and it's a superpower to have, be able to stay driven with very little time throughout the day. There's a lot of stuff that we need to do. Like, for example, if you got 20 minutes to do groceries, but you are drained out of energy, if you don't get the groceries, you're fucked for the rest of the day. You have the ability to just maintain that drive. If you're late, you can go up the stairs really fast, or you're sitting in the back of your car, you don't get lower back pain. As long as you do a lot of those stuff, you're fucking just on point, because the small little things is where you just appreciate the hard work that you have done. It's fucking great. This is what it's about. I love it. But the majority of the world is on an active recovery license. They're just non-stop every single day. They're just doing that active recovery day every single day. But there's no thriving in an active recovery. It's earned. That's the problem, which the majority of people really fuck up. And you just enjoy the weather, the sun. You relax for a bit. I say 4 hours. I call it 4 hours of nothing time. It's basically emptiness in the mind and relax. You're just enjoying the spirit, and you are who you are. That is active recovery. It's not a matter of self-sabotage, because when we self-sabotage on active recovery day, now we're just feeling like total shit, and it's a terrible feeling. Why would you want to do that? So, as long as you eat well, sleep well. When I say well, a certain point, a certain amount of time, like midday, I took a power nap. I had to. There's no fucking way. And that's my biggest challenge, because by the time I finish my trainings, both my trainings, I train every single day, that's guaranteed, but for 5 of those days I do some form of martial arts. Wednesdays I have days off, technically, and today. But I go to the gym no matter what. I work on my foundation, I work on my strength. I do something to just maintain that high level of drive. That's necessary, and if you don't eat the right foods, which is going to make you leaner, then you're going to feel it. But there's no room for fucking up. That's the problem. You can't drink and smoke like a motherfucker and try to. You got to remove the one form of stress. That's what it's worked for me. If I use substances on an excess to mask pain or recovery as a form of recovery too much, it can cause pain. And that's where people tend to fuck up, because they just don't know how to just like put aside for a bit. I went down that rabbit hole. It's not fun. Pot addiction is an addiction. I, for whatever reason, believe I can't get addicted to it because it's a plant. I'm so fucking stupid. Heroin's a plant. Heroin's a plant. I just believed it. That was just the viewpoint on the campus culture. It was very liberal, green, marijuana activist. It's a plant. You don't get addicted to it. You definitely do. You can get addicted to anything, and if you use whatever vice there is to manage pain, their spirit's corrupt. That's the problem, and it needs self-belief. And substances don't give you self-belief. All they do is amplify your current state. So if you're using that to heal a negative wound, you're just amplifying a substance on a mindset, which should not go together. It's only time where a PED is beneficial, and it doesn't matter what the fuck it is. It could be a protein powder, it could be a Monster energy drink at the right time if necessary. It's not like there's still a pay price to action. I'd have a Monster energy drink with very little sleep if it's necessary in that moment, because the act of getting it done is more important than. You gotta have that instinct, and that's where people fuck up. They don't have that connection. They don't know when to take it. This is where the wisdom comes into play. Once you have a strong understanding of know what to eat, it's not yes or no. It depends. Everything depends on everything. That's where people fuck up. It takes a bit of wisdom and experience to get through the motions of it. If you're always trying to look for the plan, just get going. Everything depends on everything. Once you figure out in your current circumstance how to operate, then you're going to thrive. But You need that guidance and support if you keep stepping on your dick, vagina, gender neutral, that shit. Yeah, but now I'm lost. Yeah, so you got to know. And if you're not seeking for advice when you're stuck, then you're gonna get stuck. And ask people around you. Ask anyone who's successful, anyone who's just consistent. If you find someone who's consistent, just period. Start with that, because they're gonna call you out on the bullshit that matters. Where you're fucking up, not the blueprint that much. Maybe, like if you're having way too much carbs, it's a form of de-stress versus carbohydrates. We learned thousands of years ago that it's a form of active recovery, de-stress. It reduces cortisol, and because we made that connection, that's why honey makes us feel good at certain periods of time. But because it's so accessible, we're always de-stressed. We're always in an active recovery state. Carbohydrates is your best friend if you're sub 10, and it's your enemy, quote unquote. I'm just simplifying it. If you're above 10% body fat, you don't need it. It's not necessary. It's not an essential component to nutrition. The two macros, which is 2 out of the 3 that's essential, is protein and fats. Those are a must from ingestion. Protein and fats, they come from meat, majority. So once you have those aligned, now you're cruising. You're enjoying these days like these. You got the vitamin D too. Shit, I got stuff to do no matter what, and I still gotta go do it. But there's a moment of 4 hours to just like play. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like I literally do everything I do is just like a form of meditation. That's the best way I can explain it. I meditate through the act of the vision I'm trying to create of movement. Because I can always practice movement. In an elevator, I used to do it all the time. When I did Uber Eats, I did basic, just, I in the mirror. Just, and I just practice. What do I gotta lose? If you're trying to be a good biker, a mountain climber, swimmer, anything you do every single day puts you in a meditative state. That's what people really fucked up. I got you to do because I'm just biking. That's all I'm doing. From one place to the other. And I'm chilling, no rush. There are moments I need to, but this is what active recovery is about. Once you have the right steps, pieces, doesn't matter what your day is, I don't care about your external circumstance. I have friends tell me everyone's a victim to their own problems, and everyone thinks it's the worst. That's a problem. One person says, the world thinks I'm black. The other person says, I have cancer. Another person says, I'm retarded, and my dad abuses me. There's always a person with a worse story than your circumstance if you just amplify it to be that. So you cannot use that as an excuse not to train. That's wisdom for you. You gotta go deep. And people don't like to talk about that because it hurts. But if you just maintain that consistent drive, just able to go through your day with just this level of clarity, which is it's direct. You're connected with your inner spirit. It tells you this is it. You're connected, present, no other thoughts, just feel. And for some, they're just in the early phases. To them, it's just, I just want a 6-pack because that's their vision. But there's so much more. It's just so deep, right? You got diabetes, you got a 6-pack, it's gonna help. Don't you want that? Isn't that what you want? To eat clean and exercise? So behave with the basic 101s. And once you understand any sort of self-sabotaging habits, now you're just like shit. And finding someone who's consistent is a must. And then consistency is one thing. If you're plateau with your numbers for like 6 months, you want to just pivot a bit. You got to reassess. Maybe it's, okay, he's consistent, but his blueprint's off. Find someone with the blueprint. And keep going. It doesn't stop. I apply the same thing with all areas of life. Some days I'm better, some days I'm worse, but this is what it's about. Just reflect, relax, train hard, eat, enjoy the sun, and then back at it tomorrow morning. But making sure I have a better grasp of the next level.